One of the days I've been eagerly awaiting is getting my parts from Partzilla so I could finish up my little conversion of the Ferrari bike into an R1. It originally started life as an R1, all full of stickers and all full of decals, and I just wasn't me in the beginning. I took them all off. And maybe what I'll do is at the end of this video, this is an Evil Twin video from our series of, there's 3 or 4 other Evil Twin videos. But what I wanted to do was I wanted to explain pretty much what my idea was and how I tried to do it on other bikes as well as the R1 and how it worked and why I like it. It's an idea, I call it Evil Twins, but it's really an idea where you take a motorcycle you already own and you either do something very simple, very easy. An example would be painted a different color. And in essence, you've created a second bike. Now, the easiest way to do that, of course, is have a second set of bodywork and a second tank, or in my case, have a parts bike that you can just pirate parts off. The way it's worked for me, it's worked great because it piqued my interest. Now, I understand people that like to, and it's very simple. You buy a motorcycle, especially if you buy a brand new one, and you put a couple accessories on it, you buy in the store, and you ride it, you enjoy it, perfectly fine. But the problem is, that doesn't work for me because I ride every day or almost every day. So I have to constantly be finding new things to do and try and places to go. And I'm always looking for some way to make my involvement with motorcycling more interesting. And more interesting without spending a ton of money. Now, it would be very easy. Say you have a $15,000 bike and you get bored with it, which a lot of people do. 6 months later, you buy another $15,000 bike. You take a loss on it. 6 months later, you buy another one. Now, that's perfectly fine too. And you know why it's fine? Because it's your money. But I like to spend my money on more important things like Legos for my grandson. So I try to get an efficient use of my money on what I spend on motorcycles. But the purpose of this video, and what I'll do is at the end of the video, I have in my photo album a couple of pictures of 8 or 10 pictures of when I first bought the bike and what it looked like with all the stickers, the Yamaha stickers. I never cared for it, never. And I eventually took them all off, and then I rode the bike while it was just blue, really. And then I made the mufflers for it and some of the carbon fiber parts that I made. But I still was looking for something unique, something different, and then I linked up with John CAFARO, who got me the Ferrari stickers, and I thought, wow, that's a lot of fun. Everybody thinks it's a Ferrari bike. But the problem with that is, even that, you run out of people to play jokes on. So now, I wanted to change the bike, and because I'm not going to do a major thing, I'm not going to repaint the bike, I'm not going to do something crazy. What I tried to figure out was, I looked on the Yamaha site for some ideas, and I said, gee, every idea I saw, I kind of poo-pooed, and I said, nah, because they just don't, basically there's something somebody else is already going to have that I've already seen. But there was one thing I do remember. I bought this bike in '09. I rode it, of course, and I would be going back to Motorcycle Mall where I bought it regularly. And then the 10s came out, and the 10s had these really neat, I call them chrome emblems, badges that say R1. And I always thought, well, but I can't put R1 and Ferrari on the same thing. But now I want to have this Evil Twin thing of, I can make it a Ferrari bike, I can make it the R1 bike, and just switch stickers every year or two and have a new bike. Just like I do with the blue parts, with the RDC, with some of the other bikes that I have multiple bodyworks and seats and tanks and things for. But the whole thing that makes this work, I got these parts from Partzilla. Now, putting them on, you would think is going to be a super easy, I'll just go out and stick them on. It's anything but. And again, I'm leaning back on information that John CAFARO, who is a automotive designer, a very famous one in fact, he had mentioned to me how important badging is. When you badge a vehicle, motorcycle or a car, the badging of it, if it's wrong, it really looks terrible. And sometimes I see a car that fits that category. But when the badging is right, it just adds something to the vehicle. Now, I'm going to spend a good part of the time today laying out these badges because I got them from Partzilla. and they were a little late on delivery, but certainly within reason. I've looked at the Yamaha site, and they have, some of them have them way up in the front, some in the back, some lower, higher, here, there, everywhere. I want to spend a little time, and I want to show how I would lay these badges out. There's also a video on my channel of laying out the Ferrari badges, which took the better part of a day for me to put 2 stickers on the bike. But in the end, it really did pay, because this is a project, and it's within an hour's worth of work, 2 hours worth of work, I'll change the whole look of a motorcycle. So I'm going to share that. If it's something you think you'll enjoy, or if you're going to change the badging, or you're going to make an Evil Twin, something you might want to think about. Now, John Pothier and I have joined our efforts many times and made custom decaling. Virtually all the bikes have something that John and I worked on together. The purpose is, these badges, I didn't want to have stickers. The stickers, I just didn't do it for me. But then I remembered that 2010 with those chrome, and I thought, wow, this bike has the silver wheels, and those silver badges will make a nice, subtle, nice little touch. And there are some people within our group that'll think I bought a new bike. I won't mention any names. Luciano, it's not a new bike. Anyway, I want to get started. Quick cup of coffee, feed the fish, and get this day underway. So these are the badges, the way they come from Portzilla, and they are absolutely a perfect match to the wheel silver. They have that nice metallic look, and they're 3-dimensional, just like the Ferrari stickers are. Now, and thank you, John CAFARO, again for getting me those real Ferrari stickers. They were really good. We enjoyed that, and we may put it back. The thing we have with doing a job like this in Evil Twin, you can always put it right back the way it was. We're not committing, we're not cutting a frame off or doing something crazy to the motor so it doesn't run right. This is something, it's easy to undo. And that's always part of the Evil Twin concept. You can do something, enjoy it for a while, and then put it back. Now, one of the things that factored into my decision in '09 when I bought this bike, it was a new bike that was just out. And the appearance of it, I liked the way it looked a lot better than some of the other super bikes that were pretty much the same price. But what I really liked was the way this fairing sits here, and I thought, wow, and the nose, now a lot of people don't like it, of course, but it doesn't matter, they don't have to ride it. So now where I lay this out, the trick here is to take some Prepsol, clean off all the wax first. And then before I try to stick these in place, I want to tape them on various places, see how they look, then make an outline around it, because I only get to stick them down once. So now step 1 is any of the places that I tentatively want to put this. This is Prepsol. Clean off all the wax. I want this to stick, of course, but I don't want it to. I have to peel it off 4 times. So I'll do this a few times, get it clean as can be, get as much of the wax off as I can. See, the mistake here is to just take them and go, yeah, they look, oh no, they look better here. But they look better. When you do that, every time you peel, it's going to be less sticky, and then maybe they'll even come off. I don't know. But getting all the wax off, always with any stickers or anything, step 1. Now when I bought the bike, and I'll show this at the end of the video, this thing had stickers here and stickers here and stickers everywhere, and I still liked the way it looked, but I liked it better when I took the stickers off by far. Now because these stickers, they have the adhesive on the back against this wax paper, I won't be able to see them as efficiently, so I'm going to trim off as much of the paper as I can with using a brand new razor. Because I want to be able to see what this is going to look like and move it around to various places before I get married to it. Because I'm only really going to get to stick this on 1 time. And this is the thing you can do 1,000 times before you have it exactly the way you want it. Now, the idea is to get this an angle, but this looks like it's too far forward. It needs to go further back and then up a little bit. But I'm going to do this incrementally until I have something that I'm happy with. And then what I'll do is just outline it with tape, so when I do pull the backing off, I'll be able to stick it right in place. And this is, see, I still don't have the backing off of it. Now when I found a spot that tentatively I'll be happy with, I've kind of given myself some guidelines to work off. And now it'll be a question of just pulling off the backing real carefully and getting that on as accurately as possible. I still haven't really pressed it down because I want to take this tape off. See what it's going to look like. I left the clear on. It's amazing how badging can change the whole look of a motorcycle. Now what I'll have to do for the other side is take some measurements so they come out, even though they're not going to be mirror images. I want them to be very similar. Oh, that really is a quality look. That doesn't look like a sticker. I just cannot stand the idea that this would be a sticker. That R1 emblem is, I think, one of the nicest emblems in the world of motorcycling. But it matches the wheels perfectly. Oh, that's really nice. That, I'm very happy the way that worked out. Now this, believe me, it's, in my opinion, it changes the whole look of a motorcycle. One little set of badging. And they're not stickers. And from every angle you can really see that they're three-dimensional. Now the thing is, I put it out in the driveway here because I wanted to see what it looked like outside, even though today's not a riding day. I wanted to look at it, see it from a couple of different angles. I'm going to go get Karen to give her approval, and then I'm going to do the other side. And even though the other side is different, I want it to be similar. I don't want it to be too far back, too far low. So I'm going to make a couple little patterns, take a couple of measurements, just try to get it somewhere where it looks similar, even though it can't be a mirror image. And because it's different, I've got to do this all by eye. Just got to eyeball it up. The same thing, moving it around front and back, and then look at it from the front. Even though you can't see both of them from the front, I want them to have the same pretty much look. Not that one is a lot lower or higher or whatever. Quite an involved thing laying this out, and it's all in the eye of the beholder, that's for sure. Well, all that's left is to wait for his turn in the pitching rotation. And that'll be here soon enough. You know, just let me add up the photos that I have of the bike when we first bought it. And you can see that over the years, over the 10, 11 years, it's going to be 11 years soon, I've really enjoyed several bikes. They've been evil twins. So here's a little photo presentation of some of the things I think might be interesting to note. This is pretty much when I first got the bike, and one of the things that I really I loved the way the bike looked. I knew I could make it a little bit more to my taste. It just made me crazy, all these stickers. Now look at the sticker up on the nose here. They don't even match. One side says R1, one is like a racing stripe. And luckily these things come right off. And I used Karen's feedback when we walked around and looked at it. And I said, which one should I take off and which one should I leave on? She said, take them all off. And I did. And so by looking up at it, and this was back in the day when I was still flying model airplanes, I had the big seat on the Suzuki, the touring seat. And here's a nice thing. Look at it and look at the mufflers. When it had the stock mufflers on it and that thing that holds the license plate, I kept looking at it and thinking, oh my God, have I got to make some parts for this bike? And I would walk around and look at it from every angle, shoot a bunch of pictures, and I'd have Karen give me some feedback. And I'm looking at the thing that holds the license plate, and I'm going, geez, you could put a salami sandwich in there. You could use that for a saddlebag. I mean, I don't know what they were thinking. Now, a couple of the things I made right away for the bike, and they don't really show up in these photos, but I got rid of that pillion seat because basically at this point, Karen had stopped riding as a passenger. She had a back injury. She was in therapy, and the doctor told her, please don't come back here. Stop riding on the back of Wendy's motorcycle, and she did. But see, look at from this angle now, where it says the R1 sticker. That kind of, boy, oh boy, oh boy, that didn't float my boat at all. Now, I did make a lot of parts for the bike. I made the, and when I look back at this, I think, wow, I've done a lot more than just make a few parts. The original mufflers, they had to go. They must weigh 50 pounds. They are the heaviest pair of mufflers I've ever had. I have 2 sets of exhaust systems for the bike. I made carbon fiber covers. You can see them here. Those were carbon fiber covers. I made that seat pillion. I made the side pieces where your knee, they originally are black plastic. I made them out of carbon fiber and then painted them blue. This still has the original headlights, which really didn't, I wanted the bike to look like Josh Hayes' bike. I made this seat. I actually made 2 of these backrest seats. This one I still use, and this one I like a lot. What's nice about this seat, you can kind of take all the weight off your arms and just rest back, let the back of your butt hit that seat. When you give it the gas, you have no pressure on your arms. It's nice and relaxing anyway. And again, with the wheels black, I knew at some point in the future I was going to make accessories. I made the kick plates that you see on the side of the foot pegs. Here's the other thing that I needed to make a hugger. The hugger that came with the bike was flat black plastic. Everybody knows I don't like flat black plastic. I made this one up basically using the original one as kind of a mold. Made a soft mold, made the part, put a nice finish on it. You can see the quality of the finish. That was kind of easy to do. I think that video is still out on the channel. I'm not sure though. These are old videos. Now, with the new mufflers on, I like the way it looked. It cleaned up the back. I made the piece that holds the license plate from scratch. I made this as the low seat. This lets you sit further back on the bike. Like if you were on a track day, you might want this one, or I would want it. Here we got the Ferrari stickers on. We were already, John CAFARO had helped me out, and we were in the process of making it. And this goes over the course of many, many years, of course. But the biggest thing right there is I didn't like the black wheels at all. They didn't do much for me. But I knew I'd have time to paint them. I didn't know what color to paint them. I hemmed and hawed, and I did other projects, and I was real happy the way the exhaust system came out. The Huntsman resin is supposed to be good for about 5 years. It's now 9 years old, and it still has never given me a problem. So I'm hoping that that's going to withstand the test of time. Of course, ultimately, we had 2 Ferrari bikes, and they were a nice matched pair to have them out in the driveway. But here I still don't have the headlight shells made. And that was a super, super involved job to get those those headlight shells were absolutely labor intensive to make. And I wanted it to look like Josh Hayes' bike. I went down to the AMA race, saw Josh Hayes' bike, found out nobody on earth sells those parts. I'm going to have to make it myself. But now we're done with the Ferrari era, and we're moving into the new era. The new era is, and who knows how long this will last. Maybe this will turn into something else in 3 years. The R1, now it's a little more of a custom bike. It's got a lot more custom parts. The wheels, painting the wheels was the major, major thing that transformed the bike into being, and the headlight buckets. Those 2 things combined changed the whole look of the bike completely. The headlights, to me now, those, and I've heard Glenn among people say, oh, it looks like an alien. Well, maybe it does. I don't know. And with the R1 badges now, it is now, to me, pretty much what I consider having a new bike. So when the next time I get out on the open road with it, to me, it's going to be like having a new bike. But the good news is I have all the Ferrari stickers in one pouch, and anytime I want, it's about an hour to heat gun these off and I have little patterns for where the Ferrari stickers go. And maybe someday I'll try to convince everybody I have a new bike. I have the Ferrari bike. But right now, next time we're out on the open road, we'll have fun with this. And we're at the end of the gardening season here, pretty much coming up into the teeth of the winter. But anyway, I hope you've enjoyed sharing this adventure and sharing the rides we try to post almost every day. And thanks so much for watching.